Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to all of you for today's session. Students, just let me know whether you people can hear me well. Tell me, please.
Yes.
Some people have joined for the first time today. So for them, if they're unable to hear me, yes. Now, so please focus it. If you are unable to hear me, here is the solution. Yes. Just 1 to 2 minutes. I'm going to start the lecture. Yes, there are some people who have not responded, whether they can hear me or not. I'm doubtful about them so far. Yeah. Can they hear me? Now, everyone, please tell me. Others who have not responded especially. Good. Good now. All right. So we will be starting our lecture now. Students, in the last class, I have discussed with you people the control introduction, and we have done that in a very detailed way, the introduction. And I told you that how to, yes, just a minute. Just 1 second. I'm connecting my iPad. Yes. Now, so students, here we are. We have done in the last 2 classes, up to this point, these first 2 lectures. Those who are joining today for the first time, they will, of course, have access to the recordings of these 2 lectures, right? Now, So students, the next topic for today, I told you in the last lecture, which was here, that there are these steps now, auditor and internal controls of the company. Before I proceed further, I will ask you people a question, a simple question it will be, which I have discussed in the last class. Why does auditor, or why auditor is auditor tests the controls of company? Any answer, please, from your side. Why auditor tests the controls of company? Yes, please. Yes. Why auditor tests the controls of company? Tell me, please. Oh, you can open your mic and talk to me. Yes.
To assess the level of work we have to do for substantive tests.
Okay, someone, can you please tell me what is substantive tests? Means a bit easy words. I want answer. Anyone else, please, who want to explain it? Your answer is correct. There is another thing I told you. Yes. Okay, good. I'm getting private message answer to assess the level of work to be performed on financial statements. That's good. Okay, right. To test the effectiveness of controls. Following same determine whether to do how much work to be done on financial statements. Yes. Now. Yes, please. Good idea. Anyone else? This is the point I wanted. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. No, you have made my day, right? This is what I wanted, this answer. At this stage, we will say that auditor, the controls of company. And other answers are also correct. But this is the answer which I wanted, actually. Right? So, auditor tests the controls of company. Controls of company. For what purpose? To assess whether controls are achieving financial statement objectives or not. And if they are not achieving, they are not achieving they are achieving. Two possibilities are there. Achieving or not achieving. Two possibilities are there. The one is achieving, all right? What we have to do then, it means financial statements will contain, achieving means their controls are effective. Financial statement will contain less misstatements. Hence, less detailed work required. Audit work required on financial statement. And audit work on financial statement is called substantive tests. Less detailed substantive tests required on financial statements. Yes. Just a minute, please. Now, so less detailed substantive tests required. If they are not achieving, it means they are weak, ineffective. It means that detailed substantive tests detailed substantive tests required. Now, so student, so this is the purpose. Auditor is checking the controls of company. Yes. Now, students, some of you are logging from more than one device. So this is unethical. Please log out from one device. And remember, we share videos with you people in good faith. And you know, videos of the lecture with the enrolled students. So this, I just wanted to say, please do not abuse that facility. Means we expect all of you to be ethical and do not share those videos with those who have not enrolled with us. Okay, right? So this will be unethical. We are providing a facility to help you out. Okay? So otherwise, how things will go on in this way, in a sustainable way, right? Sometimes we have the idea when they are leaked, but we still, you know, that we keep because we have the bandwidth and the other calculation and other data with us, so we can assess what is happening. But we still allow that students leave it to the faith of the student, to the honesty and integrity of the students. Now, if you have enrolled for the class, please, it is your right only. Okay, now. Now, next point. So the next point is, students, today's lecture, I will start from 4 points, which I told you at the end of the last lecture. So auditor understands the controls of the company, then document the control, then perform walkthrough tests, and then test the controls of company. This is what auditor does. This is what auditor does. Now, so students, understanding the control. So auditor comes to the company and understands the control. Yes. And understand the control. Because ultimately he has to check the control whether they are working well or not. So in order to reach that level, first we need to assess, check, understand how they are operating. Then we can check the effectiveness of those controls. First, we have to check how they're working. We need to get understanding of the processes of the company. Now, so you see here, when we talk of, so there is a topic that components of internal controls. Component of internal controls. Yes. Now, so component of internal controls. So we will understand what are the components. There are 5 components. Let me take you people to notes. One, I've already given to you people this volume. And we will go to the controls. Here it is, at the 55 page. At the page number 55, it is. Now, yes. Page 55, yes. Internal control and test of control. Here we are. What is the definition of controls? We have talked about it in detail. So, students, components of internal controls. 5 components are there. So for each component of control, we will talk about what the control component is, what is meant by this component. And the second thing we will discuss, what does auditor do about each component? What does auditor do about it? What does auditor do about that? So the first one is control environment. Control environment. What is control environment? Environment is basically things surrounding the control system. Factors under which controls have to operate. For everything to be done, I have to conduct a class over here. What is the environment over here? Can I conduct a class in this environment? If I conduct, how well I will do, how motivated I will be. Controls have to be implemented. There are procedures. There are other factors affecting the implementation of controls. That is called environment. That is the management attitude. If the management is having poor integrity, dishonest people, and they are trying to enforce controls in the company, their instruction will not have that level of moral weightage. I say it again, they will not have that level of weightage. Their words not have that level of moral weightage. They were honest as compared to they were honest. They have to monitor people. It means, if you know that, ethical values. If you start speaking, if you start practicing ethics in the workplace, The management, they keep that ethics and moral values, they give that priority. They talk about ethics, they practice ethics. Ultimately, what will happen? There will be an environment, culture will be created. If they hire people with competence, competent people, skilled people who are able to do their job effective. So ultimately, it will affect the work as well. You have to use controls. Hiring incompetent people without, on the basis of only references, just to oblige people, political or other mileage ourselves. So what will happen? The environment of organization will be dictated by it. Vice versa. And then is there is board of directors. Board of director is the upper tier of company, the topmost level, highest level of authority in the company. They are the highest level of authority. If how much stature they have, the personality, everyone, even the personal stature, the personal influence, charisma, the personal, that, and of course, their involvement in the top board director, they're top. If they are concerned about controls, they ask about controls in the management, from the management, then it means environment will be strong. Yes, if they interact and they give importance to audits, internal audit, etc., what will happen? Everyone will understand these things are very important. Now, yes. The next is management is doing business decision in a systematic way, in a stepwise process, proper evaluation, calculations. Management wants everyone to do their job in time and in an efficient way. They're concerned about organizations, means management. One is directors, below that is the management. Management is managing day-to-day operations. How much management is efficient about reports, records? They're concerned how they take risks to the business, how they do evaluation of the risks. Whether there is a systematic process, documented process, or just they are taking things casually. Ultimately, it is going to form the control environment. People are going to act according to that. People are going to act according to that attitude, which is because lower staff, the daily managers, line managers, supervisors, they are translating the attitude of the management down there. They are translating the approach and the philosophy of those seniors below, normally. And then is organizational structure. If the organization structure is very well defined, tasks are allocated properly, They are monitored, supervised, controlled properly. Everything is defined. Control environment will be different. And if they are done in another way, many things will be different. Authority and responsibility. So authority and responsibility goes line with line. It is the topic of F1. So how the organization hierarchy from top to bottom? We are concerned about financial statements. So how authority is distributed and whether there is a responsibility accordingly or not. And very, very, very important. Again, it is the same as commitment to competence, I must say. Linked to that. Same point. That what are the human resource policies, HR policies, hiring, promotion, remuneration packages. Of course, HR is about training and development as well. How they are linked? On which basis? Skill, professional approach. There is another basis. You got the point? So you see here, this all forms the organization environment. How people will be thinking. This all will form the aptitude of organizational people when they are implementing controls. So auditor will come. Now, what auditor will do about this control environment? Will assess whether these elements of control have been implemented. How auditor will assess? Will assess through inquiry, observation, action. Go there, observe, inspect. Is that clear? What about others? Whether they are just shining with the light on their face, which I cannot see. %10 people responded. 90% of you did not respond my question. That whether control environment is clear or not. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate. This response is mandatory because some people joined today. First time, I appreciate response via mic. Yes, I prefer that. Okay, now the next point. The next is, the second component is risk assessment. Each organization has a risk assessment process because organizations who are running their business, they have to manage the risks of the business. So risk assessment process is 4 steps. Business risks which are being faced by the organization. The first thing. What are the business risks? What is the business risk? market fluctuations, economy downturn, customer taste change, fashion change, technological change, software corruption, website down, and so on. Each organization, now here we are talking about financial statement objectives. The auditor checks whether organization identify any risks because of which financial statement objectives will not be achieved. Identify. And the next is significance of risk. Assess the significance, importance of the risks. How bigger is the risk as compared to consequences? The third is, what is the likelihood, probability of occurrence, chances of occurrence of the risk? That has to be assessed. Probability, likelihood. And the fourth one is deciding the action. The organization who is facing risk, they have to manage that. Action is normally control. Again, it is control. How to avoid that risk. This is the risk assessment process. So if organization entity has established process, auditor shall obtain understanding. Do not have, they will discuss with management that how do you are managing and balancing and tackling the risks. Yes, how you are doing that. Now, the next is information system relevant to financial reporting. Next point is here. The third component of control. You know, when you are working in accounts, you might be working in different accounts department of different companies. I believe that you are working in accounts department of different companies. And you know how first form requisition record is kept. Then purchase order is prepared. A record is kept there. Then it is approved. Then goods are delivered to stores. How a transaction is being captured at various stages. So information system have been created, have been in place to ensure a transaction is recorded at different stages. What is the purpose? The purpose is to avoid any fraud. The purpose is to avoid any error related to the asset, liabilities, income, expense. If it is incorrectly recorded at one place, fraud have been done in one place, the other place will not be there. So it is being captured at different places. So that ultimately when you form financial statement, to ensure the objectives are achieved, assertions are achieved. Got that? Now, so auditor I shall obtain understanding of how entity has established the rules, capture information, and ensure the financial reports, financial statements, basically financial reports. We know that. Now, the next is the fourth component is control activities. Control activities. Now, so control activities, what they are? the specific steps implemented. We want to achieve objective. For example, we say invoice prepaid should be correct. We say, okay, one person prepared, the other checks and reviews. Prepared by, sign. The other reviewed by, sign. We say one person will prepare purchase requisition. The other will purchase order. The third will pay. Fourth will receive goods. So segregation of duties. Control activities are those activities designed to prevent, detect, and correct errors. We say purchase order must be authorized, for example. Any expense should be authorized. Anyone in the company, it should not be like that anyone can do anything. No, there should be authorization process. You have things in check. And the next is performance reviews. Yes, performance reviews, you work in companies. Your performance reviews are also there. Control. Information processing controls. Production limits are there. Authorizations are there. Physical access controls. You cannot enter a building without authorization. Stores especially. Authorized to do so. So students, segregation of duties you do. Physical access control. Everyone enter in the cash department. Physical access control. And segregation, I have already told. What is segregation? Segregation of duties means, you can note down this, that the transaction is broken down into different parts. And different persons are performing the different parts of one transaction. To avoid fraud or error. Segregation of duties, it is called. Now, so the next is monitoring of controls. Monitoring of controls. What is it? Organization management has implemented controls. So, but it's not like that. They implement control today and then they forget. So they have to continuously review, improve controls, because people will find loopholes and will bypass controls. Things may change. Transactions may change. So you have to improve controls. Just like that, I told you that I know anyone can give and share the class videos with anyone. I know this is control weakness. I am audited myself. But we can restrict it by tracking the IP and other IP address, MAC address, and so on. But then it will be pure a business basis. I don't like, teaching is not only, this profession is not business only. Yes, it is a source of bread and butter for me, but there must be a relationship of respect. I must have to teach my student to be ethical as well, to have integrity as well. So I need to trust them. They will not do. I'm just trying to tell you that monitoring is required. Do not monitor, we will not know what is happening in our business. People may not be following the controls. Control will deteriorate, will get messed up. Organizations, they have to monitor the controls and take timely action. Everything. A stitch in time saves 9. You may have heard this word, so this sentence or phrasal verb, I think it is called English grammar, might be. So students, So continuous. So auditor shall obtain that how entity does monitoring of controls to find statements, and how any problems controls related to financial statements, they are identified and resolved. How any problems are resolved. Now, students, this component of control is clear. Tell me, please. Is that clear? You people do not open mic and talk to me. Why? I appreciate you are responding. No, with the mic when you open, I feel like that I am teaching a class, Otherwise, I don't get this feeling. Means I get this feeling, but not that level of the feeling. Yeah. Now, next point. So the next point is, students, before moving to the next point, for each component of control, you can note down this point. We have studied two things. For each component, you have to memorize two things. One, what the component is, control is. Second, what does auditor do about that component? You see here, what does auditor do? What does auditor do? What does auditor do? What does auditor do? And what does auditor do? First of all, what is the component? So these two things for each component. So you can prepare it in this way as well, keeping this thing about each component. Now, next point. Let us proceed further. So students, the next point is the limitations of internal control. Yes, tell me one thing. Who is implementing the controls of company? Tell me, please. Who is implementing? Who has the responsibility to establish controls?
Management.
Exactly. It's the management. It is the management. They have the responsibility to do that. So limitation. So students, to achieve objectives, organization, and here financial statement objectives. Now, other objectives as well, controls are wide, not limited to finance. We say auditor is concerned about controls related to finance statements. So limitations of controls. The first one is the cost of control. Exactly. Cost of control. It should not outweigh the benefits. It should not outweigh the benefit. You are trying to kill a mosquito by it should not happen. Right? Yeah. So means that in the case of COVID, unfortunately, governments, I'm sorry to say, it was done similar things. because of the panic to kill. It's with the panic. Means your cost, calculate the cost and benefit. Company. Potential for human error. Yes, no matter how good controls you implement in the company, no matter how good controls you implement, there is still chance of error by human. For example, I am the boss. I have keys of the locker with me. Biometric, the codes, etc., whatever it is. I forget the key or the code details, mistakenly write and forget. Leaked out. It happens, Human error. Then the collusion among employees. When employees join each other. For example, we have implemented cameras at the cash department so that every movement is monitored. So the person who is controlling camera and the person who is going to steal the money, they join each other. Cash department person and the person from the IT department, they join. And the IT person switch off the camera and the person steals the money in the meantime, and it is not traceable. So collusion, when employees join each other. If management is not following the controls, no one will follow. Remember, no one will follow. And this is very important. Controls are designed for a foreseeable circumstances. What you can foresee that this wrong may go happen. Control for that. Still so many websites get hacked. Data gets leaked. Why? Because whoever it is designing the control, they think the circumstances, identify the loophole and implement the control. But still, they come from a new way. They enter your system. It happens. You cannot foresee. Now, so understanding of controls is done. The next is recording the control. So the first part in this topic, which we did, understanding the control and the limitations of controls, it is done. The second is documentation of control. Students, control documentations, recording, accounting, and control system. So, auditor comes to the company, understands the control, how they are working, and then prepare a record of controls with them. So 4 ways are there to record controls. Narrative notes. Narrative. Narration. The story format. Commenting. How control is maintained. So, for example, I write the story. First of all, Mr. X, the purchase, the store department personnel, he generates a requisition and makes request to the purchase department to purchase goods, which is a very good way to comment as well. And then department person prepares the purchase order, approves it. Approving by the same person is an indication that he may do purchases which are unnecessary. So commenting. Okay. So in the storytelling format, there are advantages and disadvantages of the both. Easy to record. Everyone can read the story and understand. For any system, any control subject, they can be used, narrative notes. And if you have typed, of course, type these narrations, you can edit easily. But if you have written manually, the copy on the paper, yes, editing is not easy. And writing it is a lot consuming as compared to other methods of control writing and notes, recording. Yeah, missing controls. See a bigger picture. Rather, you are involved in a story. And you cannot identify exceptions. It means weaknesses in the controls. You cannot see in the bigger picture what is missing here. You are actually lost in the story and unable to identify anything like that. Next. Next. The next point is flow charts. So what are the flow charts? This is the flow chart that you draw a picture. Purchase invoice received. Yes, no, no. Diagrams. See here, flow charts are quite, you can see a process from top to end easily. Bigger picture you can see from whether it is moving, from where it is going. You can identify, yes, a little experience. You can prepare. Easy to understand. Entirety is from one end to the other end. You can see everything. Any loose end. I love this sentence, by the way. I love this sentence, by the way. Any loose end will be apparent from a cursory examine. Cursory means cursor. No, the mouse cursor. You just see, okay, where it is going. Oh, here it is loose. Here controls are not working well. From the beginning to end, you can see everything. So they need the eliminate of extensive narration. It can help to highlight the deficiencies in the system. Now, these drawbacks, these advantages and drawbacks are very, very, very important. These things why I am discussing in detail, you should understand. They are tested in the OTQs and even section B as well. You must prepare these things well. Shouldn't say OTQs are very tough. Yes, they are tough because you don't study in detail. Prepare things in depth, then they will be difficult. So students, they are suitable for standard systems, unusual transactions, which is happening. For example, cash-based transaction in a business. Now, what about the barter exchange, good for good exchange? Now, their controls may not be prepared. It's not easy to prepare for that with charts. Amendment, major amendment is difficult without the need to. You have to do amendment. You need to redraw the chart. And yes, we are concerned about audit significance areas. Now, time may be wasted by charting areas which are no audit relevance. Less audit relevance possibility is there. The next is, we call it together questionnaires. We call it questionnaires. We'll come towards it after a few minutes. Just come here. Checklist. What are the checklists? I have the third way to record control. I see, okay, I have prepared a list of controls which should be present there. So first control, present, yes, okay, tick. Second, present, okay. Third, present, okay. So ticks boxes are used to indicate where statement hold true, means where it is implemented. For example, supplies are examined on arrival for quality and quantity. Yes, tick. It means they are not checked. So then the next is the questionnaires. What are the questionnaires? Students, questionnaires are basically that tells questionnaire, auditor prepare questionnaire. Auditor prepares. Control questionnaire, they're also called. And these to be filled by clients, staff. Client staff. Actually, auditor can draft questionnaires and distribute in the company staffs. They fill it. That is, the auditor gets the data about controls, how they're working. Of course, there is chance of the bias that the management people, staff may not tell the truth. They may overstate things. Possibility is there. They brag about the company control in the questionnaire. But yes, auditor has other option to, auditor is checking and observing the control himself as well. So questionnaires are of two types. ICQ and ICEQ. I will explain here. Come here. Sorry. Yes. So control questionnaires. They are of two types. One is internal control questionnaire, ICQ, and the other is internal control evaluation questionnaire, ICEQ. Just a minute, please. There is a student who is facing issue in joining the class and is texting me. Just 1 minute, please. I'm sorry. One person out from you people, actually. Now, so internal control questionnaires. These questionnaires, two types of questionnaires are prepared by auditor. So ICQ, this asks questions about existence of, presence of controls. Existence or presence of controls, whether the controls are present or not. So this asks the questions about effectiveness of controls. It asks the question, yes, about effectiveness of controls. That whether controls are working well or not. About effectiveness. How? Just see here. Just see here. I will write something here. First talk about it in detail, then I will go over there. Example. Example of a question. Are goods counter-checked with sales order before dispatch to customer? Means there is some, when company dispatch goods to the customer, they're counter-checked with the sale order, whether we are dispatching same or not. So there may be two answers. Yes or no. Mean control is present or not. Just see here. Yes means controls working well, no need to be worried. Controls implemented, in place, no need to be worried. No, it means it is no means control weakness. For this question, ICQ, for ICQ, No means. And answer, if answer is no, it means you should be aligned. So ICEQ, Internal Control Evaluation Questionnaire. Example. Example of question. Can goods be dispatched without a counter check relevant sales order? Customer? Now you see here. Now read the question, both questions. Are goods counter-checked with the sale order before dispatch? Yes or no means that. Can goods be dispatched without a counter-check? It is talking about, yes, they are counter-checked. So now it is the next thing. Checking it, but tell me, is there any chance they can be dispatched without counter-check? Effectiveness. And here in this case, yes or no. Answer can be yes or no. And here, if you see the yes means color. I'm not liking the color. I'm sorry. Yes means thing to be worried about, control weakness. And no means controls are good. You see, this is asking question about a presence. And here, no means thing to be worried. Evaluation question is asking about effectiveness. Let me give you another example. Let me give you example. Are there any SOPs being followed in the country regarding COVID? You will tell me. Are SOPs being implemented to prevent spread of COVID? Tell me. Is this ICQ or ICEQ? Tell me, please. Is it ICQ or ICEQ?
ICQ.
Exactly. Now, ICQ. Can there be instance of SOPs violation? ICEQ, effectiveness. That's clear to everyone. ICQ and ICEQs are clear?
Yes.
Good. Wonderful. How many of you are having first class today with me? How many of you? Tell me, please. Just write me. 1. Okay. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Oh, good. 6% new today. Wow. Good. So, I hope you have a good experience with me today. I hope you will have. You are having a good experience. So, thank you. Now, I try to teach audits like you are doing audit. You are practicing it. This is what I try to do myself now. So students, come to the notes. Yes, here we are. Yes. ICQ and ICEQ. No answer. You see, ICQ. No answer indicated efficiency. I told you for ICQ. For example, is there any security guard at the gate for security of building? Good thing. No means deficiency. Here, weak, deficiency, effective or not? Talk about that. Can anybody enter the building without permission of security guard? You see, ICQ and ICQ. All purchase invoices are checked to the goods received note. Or no? Yes means good. No means deficiency. Can goods be sent to unauthorized supplier? Means the problem. Here, yes needs explanation. How they can be sent? Here, no seek explanation. Why? Control is not there. So you see here, no needs explanation. Here, yes needs explanation. Why it is happening? So, yeah. Now, next. So control questionnaires are also, not sorry, there is one small thing, advantage and disadvantage of this. Advantages. If drafted thoroughly, they can consider all controls, quick to prepare, easy to use. Yes. Just 1 minute, please. Yes, because they are drafted in terms of objective, ICQ. They talk about effectiveness. It is being achieved or not. They are much better than ICQs. Widely used for everything. Okay? They are, ICQs are talking about whether target is being achieved or not. It is about ICQs. They are more than. ICQ are specific. God is there. That manager is signing authorization. ICQ say whether access to the building is controlled or not. Objective. ICQ. Whether the purchases are authorized or not. That is the ICQ. Evaluation. Very important point. This point is clear to everyone. Tell me, please, is it clear?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. I appreciate. Only 2%? What about others? Not clear.
Yes.
I appreciate. There are some people, I think they are on silent mode. Just I put my mobile phone on silent. They don't speak. They may just shine. Okay. ICEQ helps to identify key controls, which are very important. Means objectives. Objective. They help you identify key issues, key controls. They identify, ICEQ identify deficiencies where substantive tests will be required. Yes. Disadvantage. Misunderstood. Important control may not be identified. May contain large number of irrelevant. May contain unusual controls. Unusual transaction, which are not foreseeable. They may not be. Yes. This is very much important. I will explain in a way. First, since staff is filling the company, people are filling, they may overstate. They may tell you wrong things. They try to overstate their position. Now, this is the point very much important. Listen. So 10 controls, we ask 10 questions, and out of which 8 question answer is satisfactory. 80% controls are working well, and 2 answers were not unsatisfactory. These controls are 2 weaknesses. Now with the data, having the impression all controls are of same importance. This weakness is not telling us that these 2 weaknesses are crucial or not. When we are asking the questions, it gives impression all controls are of equal weight. And we know that practically it is not. Controls are very important. Crucial. All other are working. If those are not working, 1 or 2, need of the controls then means that there is no use of the controls then. So they give the impression that all controls are of equal weight. In many system, 1 no means, if there is no theory, will cancel out all yes. Everything is happening. Acquisition, order, goods received by. Now the payment time, there is no record of payments being maintained. Or no authorization is happening. So everything ended. If we calculate only one weakness, this point, this is very critical. So students, this control documentation is also done in detail. So we have to start sales cycle. Management letter, sales cycle, purchase cycle. I will try, yes, listen, I will try that these, because in the lecture plan, we have included, there is something missing, that is, we must write here, the documentation of control. We have not added that. Now we have to discuss walkthrough test. And then we start sales and purchase system and inventory as well. Let me tell you, if sale and purchase is done, inventory will automatically done, because sale and purchase is related to inventory. That's quite logical. So what I'll be doing, I'll be taking a short break of 7 minutes. Break. And then after break, I will start with the walkthrough test. What is walkthrough test? And then I will shift to the sales and purchases. So if we can do these today, sale and purchase, inventory, I will give you to read at home. This can be done easily then, because sale and purchase is that of inventory itself. So students, see you in 7 minutes. Yes. Now, students, we have discussed the documentation of control. Now the topic is management letter. What is management letter? It is also called letter of weakness. It is basically a letter from auditor, management of company. You know that auditor tests the controls of company, and we know that which control auditor test? Financial statements related controls. Only those controls which are affecting financial statement. Auditor tests only those controls. So students, now letter of weakness, I'm saying. So students, this letter, auditor highlights those weaknesses which auditor identify during testing of control. I tested the control of company. So the weaknesses which I identified, mention here, I will highlight here in this letter to the management. Remember, this letter has some format. Here I have given the format in the notes, body of the letter and appendices. In the body of letter, the first point auditor says, it is not a comprehensive of list of weaknesses. Very important point. Because auditor is testing only those control which are related to financial statements. He said, in your control system, there may be more weaknesses. I'm talking about those weaknesses which I identified during my work. Which I identified. There may be more, a lot of miscellaneous. I cannot say. I cannot comment about that. The second is information in this letter is solely for management use. Yes. And I have been auditor. This is my voluntarily work. I hold no liability to any third party regarding this information. Now, appendices. In the appendices, a column is 3-column table is there. Deficiencies, impact, and recommendations are there. Auditor prepare that and tell these are the deficiencies identified. Here are the consequences of those deficiencies for you and how you can remove those deficiencies. So management letter is written by auditor. Now we have to talk about the different control system different aspect of control system. The one is sales cycle. You have studied in your F2 MA sales cycle, that how sales occur. Remember one thing, note down that this sales cycle may vary from one organization to other. It happens. Their ways of working are different. You pick 10 books and notes. Sales cycle, you may find a different context. 10 past paper question, you may find different contexts and different ways of working. Here we have to understand it conceptually. This is very much important. We have not to memorize it. Remember, conceptual clarity should be there. Yes, you can memorize afterwards that if you want to. I told you in the last class, when I was introducing controls to you people in the last lecture, if you remember, as per the lecture plan, here was the control introduction in the last lecture. So in the last lecture, I introduced you. Those who joined today, they will get the recording of the previous session, of course. And I think majority of you have got that, right? Who have got enrolled especially. So I am saying you people that this letter, this cycle basically, yes, I have considered a scenario drafted as per that. Examiner scenario may be different. And even I say you pick 10 past paper, the scenarios even taken by examiner, they vary, they are real life scenario. If you go to shopping mall like Intermart, like ShopRite, like Jumbo, they are dealing in a particular way. They sell. You pick, go visit, you put goods in the basket or the trolley, to bring that on the counter, and that's it. The other organization, you call them and they deliver home. The sales cycle is different. The third organization, you put order on the website. Cycle is different. You go to the McDonald's, their sale process is different. So it is quite logical that not only sale, all purchase, inventory, payroll methods, you know that, and other aspects of control, they vary across organizations. When we talk about sales cycle, the first is sale order is received. Sales order is, the first step is sales order is received. When you receive order from the customer, I assume that the customer comes to your premises or calls you on phone and say they want to place order. The second step is goods are dispatched. The third step is sale invoice issued. And the fourth step, which I have considered, is the payment received and recorded. You need not to memorize this. You need to understand logic. I will tell you now. Can you please, anyone out of you who was present in the last lecture, can tell me what is the difference and the linkage between objective and control? Objective and control procedure. Anyone who can tell me, please. Yes, I'm waiting to hear from you people. Yes, please. Anyone out of you can tell me what is the linkage or difference? Yes, please, Freyal. Go on. Tell, please. Open your mic and talk to me.
Objective is what you want to do, and the procedure is what you're going to do to meet the objective.
Exactly. Procedure is the practical steps. Policies, controls are the practical. I told this definition. I can show you in the last class. And it is not good if you have not revised.
I wasn't present in it's my first class
No,
today.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking about others. Okay, I know you were today first time. Okay, because I recognize the people. I'm asking about others. Yes, this is the definition I explained. Process, way, method, practical step to achieve objective. Yes, it's called control. That is called control. Now, students, remember one thing. Yes, objective comes first. Then controls are implemented to achieve those objectives. Exactly. So, students, when we talk about objectives and controls, remember that. Here I was. Here is the notes. Yes. And who implements these controls? Tell me. Who implements these controls? I need an answer from you. Who needs control within the organization?
Management.
Exactly. It is the management. Do that. Exactly. I think Nitisha wants to do something, but we cannot hear you, dear. I think the problem is with your mic. Now, so students, let us proceed further. So we are saying it is the management who has to achieve objectives for the company. So they take and implement steps. So for the time being, I will ignore this third column. I will ignore. Please don't cross out your notes. I'm just showing you. We will read first two columns. For example, when customer places an order, call or by visiting you. The first is order should be accepted for the goods available in stock. Yeah. The first objective is that. It should not be like that we don't have goods in stock. Say place order. So the first objective is order should be accepted for goods available in stock. What happened? Just a minute, please. My iPad got disconnected. Why, dear? Why? No. Just a minute, please. Just 1 second, please. Yes. Just a minute, please. I need to. I think there are some settings are on here. Which I need to switch off. Actually, it is showing Apple TV, which I never used. Just 1 second, please. I'm sorry. It should not happen in this way. But IT-based things, yes, sometimes they cause Sometimes I don't know function as well. It happens. Yes, here it is. Now, so management, this is the company's objective. That, it should not happen. That customer is placing order and we say yes, and then we are unable to fulfill that. The objective is that, yes. So sales office. Now, this objective can be achieved by different ways. What I have implemented here, calls me or comes and visit here. I say, okay, let me check. You are asking goods, let me check from the store. I immediately call the store, I ask, goods are available? Available? Okay, now accept the order. You can say another organization, or I just enter the goods on the system, available stock, and then accept the order. Company to company, it varies. Or I have updated the printed list from store, availability of stock. Check from that and say, okay, available. Then. So procedure. Yeah, here we are. Next. Next. The next is appropriate record of received. Appropriate record. It should not be like the customer told me the goods. I say, okay, goods. Okay, how many quantity? This quantity. Then I forgot to ask about the delivery details. Possibility is there. Or I receive all the details. I may misplace an order. Form. Possibility is there. So that's why the company wants appropriate record of orders. Appropriate record of orders. So what we say, how to achieve that? Now, how to achieve that? Just see here. Order should be on a standardized form so that no detail is missing. Order should be sequentially numbered and multi-copy. When sequentially numbered is there, if we lose any order, misplace any order, that will be identified. So hence, appropriate record of orders received. Appropriate record of order received. Now, next. The third, credit sales to be made to the, yes, it should not be happening. We are selling goods to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. What they say? Who's unable to pay and a huge bad debts. Not be like that. It must not be like that. It must not be like that. So what they should do in order to achieve that? Only, and they must be within limit, because if we are selling beyond limit, stock out. No problem. You are selling goods on credit. Everyone. Huge amount. So first of all, in order to achieve that, whenever a new customer joins, perform credit check. Credit checks. Obtain a reference for new customers and verify references. And credit limit policy for credit customer to be approved by senior manager of company. Senior manager of company. Yes. Defined credit limit that you can have to sell to the customer on credit 10,000, 20,000 maximum, not more than that. So a limit, so defined policy by the company, which is approved by the senior management. Credit limit should be approved by the senior management. Now, next. Students, so far, objective and control linkage is clear? Tell me. Linkage of objective and control, is that clear? Good. Only 2% responded. Other, I think, are not getting anything. Tell me, please. Next. Then is goods are going to be dispatched. You know, the customer has ordered carrots. We are sending. It is there. So the objective is that what they have ordered, they are dispatched. This is the objective to be achieved. How to achieve this objective? This is the control. One person packing the goods, other counter checking it. Sale order. Counter checking it. Dispatch. And signature of both must be present on the good dispatch note. Signatures of both must be present on the GDN, goods dispatch. Is that clear to everyone? Good. Now, the next point is appropriate record of good dispatch. Of course, for every goods record maintained, multi-copied GDN must be dispatched. Normally 4 copies. A multi-copied GDN must be created. Good dispatch note. When you dispatch goods, normally 4 copies. Normally. 1 copy at stores is maintained. 1 sent to accounts for accounts update. 1 sent to sales department. Mark that goods have been dispatched, order complete. And 1 sent to customer along with goods. What goods we are sending you? 4 copies normally. And sequentially pre-numbered. Numbering should be there on it as well. So hence, appropriate record is maintained. And of course, Mr. A asked good, we should not send it to Mr. B. Possibility is there. And sometime it may happen. Customer may have received the goods. I have not received. So goods should be delivered to right persons. And proof should be recorded. What is the way? Copy of JDM must be sent along with good dispatch. I am saying. And customer must sign that copy. And company should make that signed copy as a part of a proof. Who has received the goods? Now, so you see here, both are being achieved, both objective by this. Next, sales invoice issued. Sales invoice should be issued for the goods dispatch. A very good point. We have dispatched carrots. Invoice is being sent for the mangoes, oranges. Possibility is there, or unnecessary goods are being added, or wrong quantity is being added. So what is the solution to avoid it and to achieve this? Prepared and reviewed by with the copy of GDN matching by 2 different persons, and both should sign the prepared by and reviewed by. This logical relationship, what is control and what is objective, and how and control must achieve objective. Now this is old-fashioned thing, but it is there. Cash received by post should be saved. Okay, so any post containing cash must be opened by 2 persons present at a time. Is opening, chances are that it will be misappropriated. If 2 persons opening, that chances are reduced. Appropriate record of cash received. Now, of course, whenever you receive cash, multi-copied, pre-numbered receipt must be issued with the same name who is depositing the cash. So objectives are being achieved. Any questions so far? Tell me, please. Feel free to ask. Any questions so far? Please. Great. Now, the next is purchase system. I have assumed a scenario. The requisition is prepared, order is placed, goods are received, payment to supplier. Stepwise process. So requisition is generated by stores, I have assumed. Yes. So when you are preparing requisition in the store, you should avoid stock out. And do not prepare requisition for excessive stock. Those should be avoided. Objective. How to achieve it? Reorder level and economic order quantity, F2. Reorder level. When it is reached, it should be prepared, requisition. And it should be prepared for EOQ. Defined and observed and complied with. Automatically, with the EOQ, excessive stock will be avoided. With the reorder level, stock out will be avoided. Appropriate record of purchase requisition. Appropriate record of purchase requisitions. Yes. So purchase requisitions must be, yes, sequentially pre-numbered and multi-copied properly. Normally, again, 4-part is generated. 1 is at purchase department. Second is at stores department, that when goods arrive, match what we, what we ordered. One go to purchase department, store department for this purpose, that we have already sent a request, a record. Third is normally at accounts. Yes. 3-part. Yes, requisitions are 3-part. That is order, which is 4-part. 3. Yes. Purchase order is 4-part. It's coming next. Now, the next is purchase at competitive prices. Of course, you may call quotations. One way, choose the lowest price. I have given something different here. Authorized supplier list must be maintained. Who are our authorized supplier? Supplier list. And all order must be maintained to the place with those. Authorized supplier list of company. Appropriate record of purchase order. 4, sequentially numbered. 4-part. 1 at purchase department. Maintained. What I will tell. Second, stores. When goods are received, match against purchase order. Same received. Third, send to supplier. First, send to accounts department. So purchased, why to purchase department? Record of the purchase order. We have placed to avoid duplication. Stores, when goods are delivered, we can match what we ordered. We are receiving the same. Supplier, of course, they have to send goods. And accounts and match what with the goods received note, which is coming next. Again, the next objective. Stores have written that kindly arrange for the tea, having tea. Placed cup and tea, both. Meaning what is requested, that should be ordered. Requisition and purchase order should be the same. So purchase order must be counter checked with the requisition. One person preparing purchase order, the other is counter checking. Purchase order should be authorized. Signed by the purchase manager. Achieving. Students, are you with me? Are you able to follow and understand it? Tell me.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Goods are received at store. are received at store, ensure those goods ordered, they are accepted. I told you, we keep purchase order copy there. Copy as well, order copy at store. So you see, on receipts, goods must be matched with the copy of purchase order at store and then should be accepted. And appropriate record of GDM, goods received, are sequentially pre-numbered and multi-copied GRN must be issued. Normally 4 copies. Again, 1 at stores, what we received, 1 at accounts, that update the accounts with it. This is what we received, and you have to receive your invoice tomorrow. 1 copy is sent to purchase department, so they mark order complete, and 1 tend to send to supplier, acknowledgement that we have received these goods. We have received these goods. Now, payment to suppliers. Purchase for goods and payment for, yes, what we have received, we have to make payment. Invoice, supplier may send wrong invoice to accounts. We have not received actually. What happens when payment voucher is made? You know, payment voucher. Payment voucher, there is a goods invoice attached, purchase invoice sent by supplier, then good receive note, and sale purchase order. So 3 documents are normally attached. Normally, minimum 3 documents with the payment voucher. The one is, you see here, GRN, purchase order, these 3 documents are attached with the payment voucher, and they're matched with the invoice. So the same goods are everywhere. By the accounts, they match, and a person match and sign, yes, verified. One person verified, the other then approve that all 3 source documents, they're matched. Then match and then sign the voucher. The person who matched that, accounts department person does that, and then issue check in the name of supplier. I am account department person. I will match purchase invoice with 2 documents. Go to receive note, purchase order. Then if they're same, I will sign the voucher that I matched. And then my senior person, whoever it is, that will prepare the check in the name of supplier. So it is done. Any confusion? Any question? Any point? Any question, please?
No.
Students, you see here, Now from home, what you have to do, you have to read these two columns, inventory, just like that. Okay, you have to read these two columns, and then you have to read these two columns for the cash and bank. Revise today's lecture as well. Plus read this. In the next class, when you come, I will discuss the test of controls. But remember, you have to spend minimum 6 hours, minimum, to prepare today's lecture at home during week. You can watch the last class lecture as well, video lecture as well. Because next class lecture, I am going to warn you, if you do not prepare this lecture well, in the next lecture, you will get confused. And I have told you in the first lecture why a student fail in FH. They keep trying to be a supercomputer like that. They say, we will do it. Still there is time. They don't study regular. It is not like that paper. You have to study on a regular basis. 6 to 7 hours per week from now. If you do not do it, things will get piled up. Then you have to study 8 hours per week. Ultimately, you will try to pass it by, you will take a chance. And chances sometimes are successful and sometimes they are not. You have to be over-prepared. If you are not over-prepared, it means you are under-prepared. You are at risk. So thank you for joining me today. Those who have not enrolled yet, kindly get enrolled. Because we may not be allowing the unregistered students in the upcoming classes. Okay, we will establish controls. Right? Okay, so thank you. God bless you. See you next week with the high spirits, with more preparation, with the next step. Take care. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
So bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you.